When a CEX manager insisted to me it was impossible for a laptop CPU to hit over 100 C because that would melt gold. His tech expert buddy backing him up the whole time. Back when I was 10 or something, my older sister yelled at me for swearing. I was not swearing, I were just yelling really loud. Probably shouldn't have been, but whatever. After I point this out, she continues to tell me that yelling and swearing are the same thing, and in order to prove it she whispered, "Fuck. I wish we weren't related." We had a new assistant at work who was not fitting in with the team. I sat her down and talked to her about expectations and reviewed the responsibilities of the position several times. In one last effort to help her, I thought I'd see which parts of the job she liked. I asked her, "What skill do you think is your strongest skill?" and she said, "Delegating." When she kept trying to change the subject, every time she realized she was wrong. I stayed with verifiable facts. She went all over the map, bringing up shit I did like 5 years ago. "You can't turn right at this red light. The sign says so right there." "Well, you burnt that Kraft dinner that one time. You didn't read those instructions, did you?" "Who the hell burns Kraft dinner? You can't turn right at this red light. The sign says so right there." A friend of mine said in an argument that only mentally weak people suffer from mental health problems. Ended up being a win-win situation. After a week of constant arguing and telling my now ex-boyfriend and telling him in no uncertain terms that we're over, he came to me one morning and said, "Well, if you don't want to work on this, I don't think we should be together anymore." I just agreed. "Okay, I admit that everything you've said is right, but you're still wrong." Discussing housing policy. An old roommate of mine was trying to say we were blackmailing her when we were asking her to take out her trash, etc. She said, "Watch the Lizzie McGuire movie, there's blackmail in there and it's obvious that's what you're doing to me." I believe it goes without saying that she never cleaned up after herself, nor did she understand that movie. Someone who is dating my roommate considers herself to be environmentally conscious. She claimed that napkins were bad for the environment and they increase one's carbon footprint. She ranted about it to me in my own home, even though I don't even buy napkins. Maybe a week or so later, she noticed I use a reusable coffee filter and berated me for not using disposable paper filters. I told her that using a reusable filter cuts down on the amount of waste that we produce when brewing coffee, so, not only do I not contribute to filling up landfills with paper filters, but I also save money from not buying them in the first place and just cleaning the plastic one. She told me that since paper filters are biodegradable, there is no reason for me to refrain from using them, but napkins are made of paper. Napkins are made of paper. She literally just wanted to stand on a soapbox and hear herself talk. She derives pleasure from telling others that they are wrong, regardless of whether or not they are actually wrong. There is no winning an argument with her. This friend of mine was always late when we wanted to hang out. Sometimes she even cancelled last minute, 10 minutes before the time we were supposed to meet. I once made a joke saying we all knew she was the worst when having to meet her because she was so unorganized and cancelled so many events. A few days before she was leaving for college we were meant to meet, so I arrived late knowing she was going to be anyway, waited for her for about an hour or so, but it was the last day I could meet with her, so I didn't mind that much and I asked a friend to wait with me. I received a message 1.5 hours later saying, "I'm not coming and don't even bother me asking why, I don't have to justify when I arrive later." That day I realized she wasn't worth it, because yes, I deserve an explanation when waiting you for almost 2 hours. When I was arguing with someone about why milk doesn't go in first when making a cup of tea, a very English debate, and his argument was, when you add boiling water to cold milk, you're warming it up, but when you add cold milk to boiling water, you're cooling it down, and I don't want cold tea. I tried to explain how the end temperature will be exactly the same regardless, but he was already celebrating his self-awarded victory. When anytime you try to respond, they just cut you off and continue their rant. A discussion with someone about the process of getting a license. Obviously they didn't have one, and didn't believe that you had to do a 5-hour driving class to get one. The moment came when they tried the whole "you can't always believe stuff from the internet" and were just like A, you jump on pretty much any conspiracy theory you find on the internet, and B, we're on the fucking DMV's website. They seriously still didn't believe it, and tried to go the whole "you gotta use Google to win arguments" route. Edit for clarification, I'm from New York and am very aware that laws are different in other states, and that they have changed over the years. The thing is, we were talking about the laws in the current year, and he refused to believe the DMV website, just because it was a website. Also, I'm not saying that you don't need driving practice, you need 50 hours, in NY. A guy said to me, "Anecdotal evidence is all I need because it describes my truth, and my truth is reality, bro. My cousins are flat earthers. When lack of evidence is just proof of a conspiracy, it's best to just disengage. You can't break into that prison, they have to break out." I was asked if I could prove that more people die of cancer than fat shaming, threw my hands up and walked away.